This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with BetVictor. Delighted to be joined here today by Eddie Hearn. We're at the Whyte-Chisora 2 final press conference in London. How are you, Eddie?
I'm good. I'm glad that's out of the way. It was extremely humorous, slightly X-rated in terms of the content. Don't think there's too much that Sky Sports can use, but you can watch it back on Boxing Social and other outlets as well, particularly Matchroom's YouTube channel. Funny, a little bit edgy in the head-to-head. Chisora's he's the most unpredictable guy you can ever meet. He's that guy that you could be out having a beer with and having a laugh, and you just say one thing, and he goes, "What'd you say?" Who's that guy? So glad it's all done. One more head-to-head tomorrow. Just a great fight. You don't even have to sell it. Just watch the first one, and you know this can be nothing but the same.
You mentioned it did get quite edgy in there at times, and a few jokes that were close to the knuckle, as it were. Was there ever any in your mind were you thinking, okay, I don't want another table flying over my head?
It doesn't quite feel like that this time around, because that's sort of, they've done it, you know, and they've learned from that. I was going to say they've paid the fines. I paid the fines, and they've been warned by the British Boxing Board of Control. You know, but the press conference had sex toys, anal beads, religion, voodoo dolls, donkey talk. It had a bit of everything, really, but they don't like each other. And I saw an interview with Dylan with Sky where he said, "This isn't about pride for me." It's absolute bullshit, because Dylan's going to get backed up and put under pressure by Derek Chisora. He's not, and I don't think he can afford to just try and box him. So he's going to have to stand and fight. And really interesting in the head-to-head, as they left, Derek Chisora went squeaky bum time. And I know what he means by that. He don't mean squeaky bum time because you're about to have a war. He's trying to put in the mind of Dillian Whyte how much he's got to lose in this fight. So Chisora's and he's quite right, by the way. Chisora's going, what have I got to lose? I'm in the shape of my life. I beat this guy. I've got a monster fight. But you've got it anyway. But you're gambling against me. And I think Chisora's trying to take some confidence from the fact that he can be free in this fight. He can stick it on Dillian, and Dillian's got to be the one being careful not to lose. Chisora don't give a monkey's whether he loses or not, really. He wants to win bad, but he's not, you know, if he gives it everything and loses, that's okay. If Whyte loses, he's gambled, really. Don't get me wrong, he's making a lot of money, but not at the levels that he could have done if he just sat and wait. But he's a fighting man. He's not prepared to do that either. So you've really got two guys who love to fight, locking horns at the O2 on Saturday night to close out a wonderful year of boxing.
Talk to me about the TV deal behind this. Not something I was able to talk to you about yesterday. This fight's been broadcast on Showtime, which surprised me. Tell me what the moves were behind that.
Yeah, I saw lots of rumours and this and that. It's quite straightforward, really. Dazn have our 16 Saturday night fight nights, and obviously the US stuff and stuff like that. The pay-per-views, which are 4 or 5 a year, they have the right to have them if they want. Basically, they can make us an offer, they can match any offer. So for the Joshua fight, they obviously signed Joshua. For the Usyk Bellew fight, they took that as well. We received an offer from Showtime for this fight. Obviously, it's a co-promotion as well with Haymaker. And Dazn said, no problem, you can have it. That was it. There's no real conspiracy theory. I don't know, you know, Saturday fights at 5 p.m. historically don't particularly go through the roof. ESPN are showing Warrington Frampton as well. I just think they looked at it and went, we've done Canelo last week, we've got some activity on Saturday, we're okay.
It's interesting you should say that, because I remember being at the announcement press conference and Dazn were on the poster. Mm-hmm. Is that right? What happened there? Were they initially involved?
No, there's always a process to go through on pay-per-view shows. So at that stage there was no offers received. They're our partner. We'd have the right to have them on a poster anyway. And I probably thought they would air it, but we received an offer and they looked at it and said, we'll pass. And that's it. It's not really. And listen, it's good to be working with my old mucker, Stephen Espinosa again. And it's good. You know, that kind of competitive instinct between broadcasters is good. But there really isn't a great deal to read into it other than they just decided not to buy it, basically.
That does surprise me, because Dillian Whyte is somebody you've personally heavily invested in. Was there no push from you to think, no, we need to get this fight? And if for all intents and purposes he fights Anthony Joshua, that's not going to be on Showtime. If he goes and has a war with Derek Chisora on Showtime, does that not take away from you?
Because Joshua is in the same position for that next fight. DAZN have got Joshua if they want him. in the respect of they can match any offer they wish. So Joshua's next fight could be on Showtime. Who knows? That's unlikely, but it's not like he's locked into a 3 or 4 year deal with Dazn and we need every opponent to box on there. And obviously, at the moment, this fight is going to do better numbers on Showtime than it would on Dazn at the moment, while we build a subscriber base. So actually, it's helping Dillian Whyte get US exposure for Dazn for a potential Joshua Wilder fight. So it's not, to be honest, I know that like within the sort of gossip stakes of online hardcore, it's like this, it's really quite a bit more simple than that. It's that they had a big week last week with Canelo, a lot of activity around that, still activity around that, done massive numbers, and they just said, no, let that one go on Showtime and we'll crack on for the schedule for 2019.
Just last one on that. So by that rationale, if Showtime were to say come in and outbid for Anthony Joshua's next fight, Joshua could fight on Showtime and not DAZN.
They can't really outbid. It's just up to DAZN whether they match it, and they will match it all day long. So it's just for this one. It was a solid number from Showtime, and they said no problem.
Dillian told me that him working with Showtime could potentially open what he perceives to be a closed door for a fight with Deontay Wilder. Do you agree with that?
No, because I don't think Deontay Wilder is... Dillian Whyte is on Deontay Wilder's list or mindset at the moment. I think he's either going to fight the undisputed fight with Joshua or he's going to rematch Fury. I would love to see Dillian Whyte fight Wilder. We've been chasing it for 3 years, but they might use that as a carrot. But let's be honest. I don't think Dillian Whyte is top of Deontay Wilder's list at the moment. He should be. He should have already been. He's been number one for the WBC for a long time. And actually, Chisora goaded me about that position. He should be mandatory, but the WBC made Brazil mandatory, which is all wrong. But that's another argument, another story. So Dillian is, free, and we're free to go to different networks with him. We'd love him on DAZN. If he was fighting in America, he'd be on DAZN. In this instance, he was Showtime came in with a bid, and DAZN said, "Over to you."
You mentioned that mandatory situation. I spoke to Mauricio Sullivan. It's actually on the new Boxing Social podcast, which you'll have to have a look at. But moving away from this car, because there's lots of people standing around me waiting to get a word of you. Very popular man, unfortunately for me. Fortunately, unfortunately.
Popular.
Not popular in that jacket you were wearing yesterday.
No, but popular in terms of people want me to just keep talking to him, but not that popular in terms of in general.
I would agree with that. This card, last one on this card, I'll catch up with you more at the weigh-in tomorrow. Charlie Edwards, second world title fight against Christopher Rosales. Charlie talking a lot about destiny, this is his time.
He's putting a lot of pressure on himself. And that's sometimes a good thing and a bad thing. If you can handle that, and I think he's mature enough to now, I think it's a good thing. But when he talks and he says, this is everything, you're preparing yourself, I think, to go to places that you might not be otherwise able to go to, because you're convincing yourself this is everything. I have to do everything in my power to win this world title. At the same time, it does put a lot of pressure on you. He's technically better than Rosales. It's just whether he can stand up to the strength. Rosales is big, and he's going to blow up after that weigh-in. He's going to be very, very heavy. You see him walk down Paddy Barnes and knock him out. But Charlie can outbox him, but he can't just rely on outboxing him. He's going to have to stand and fight. And it's going to be a very tough fight. But I just hope everyone in the arena gets behind him, because we could have another world champion on Saturday night, and it would be a big win for British boxing if Charlie Edwards could win the world title.
Okay, well, Eddie Hearn, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Watch the Boxing Social podcast.
Watch the podcast?
It's a video podcast.
Is it?
Co-hosted by Dave Allen.
Can I listen to it instead?
You can listen to it if you want. You don't want to see me?
Definitely doing that tonight. How long is it?
3 hours.
Is it really?
Dave Allen's the co-host.
You got to expand from the boxing, this is the boxing nutcase world, right? And this is the other world. People don't want to listen for 3 hours unless they're in
Are you seriously telling somebody to stop talking less?
I'm saying you need to cut it down to an hour.
Eddie, you worry about the casuals, I'll worry about the hardcores. Okay. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
No problem.